Hey everybody, this video is just going to be a quick run through over the review FRQ that you all had due this week. And so, like I said last week, a couple of reminders when we're doing these review FRQs. One reminder, when you see the actual FRQ here in just a few weeks, know that they will not be focused entirely on one specific unit, but instead will draw terms from lots of units. And secondly, you'll never get an official FRQ in AP Psychology where it lists a bunch of terms and it tells you to just pick a few of them to write about. I'm doing that for the benefit of you having a little bit of choice in this review, but know that when you see the actual FRQ in a couple of weeks, what you see is what you get, and those are the terms you should write on. So, two FRQs are kind of mini FRQs for this week dealing with behaviorism and development. And just like what I did last week, I literally just copied and pasted some really solid answers that you all came up with. And so if you are reading through this FRQ and it sounds really familiar, it could be that it's your response. So I wanted you to be able to see what some of your classmates were coming up with. First scenario, Teddy is a 5-year-old boy who attends a daily preschool classroom. Pick 3 of the following terms and explain how they may impact Teddy's experience in the classroom. So we've got some different terms there that deal primarily with development here. And I'm not going to read through these word for word because I've attached this document in our folder and you can just read through them on your own. But what I want you to note, what all of these have in common is they are well thought out. They are more than just 1 or 2 sentences, and they really try to follow the DEA. So they define the term, they explain the term, and then they apply it to the prompt. And you'll see that for all these paragraphs, that's what it's doing, is it's applying it to the prompt. You want to remember that when you're typing in your FRQ for the official FRQ coming up. It could be that you don't remember one of these terms, right? That you don't remember overgeneralization of language. You can, what I recommend doing, I recommend that you write or type the ones that you know first, and then if you have time remaining, that's when you can turn to your notebook and you can try to look up some terms to get some extra points. But do not start immediately looking things up if you know what they are, because it's just going to be a waste of time. If you are really solid with what it means to be egocentric, don't look it up in your notebook. Just be confident in your ability, be confident in your knowledge. Type what makes sense to you, okay? Scrolling down here to our next one, Dave and Madi just recently adopted a small puppy named Lola. They love Lola, however, she has some bad habits, including going to the bathroom on the carpet, chewing Dave's slippers, and barking in the middle of the night. Select 2 of the following terms, explain how they might help reduce some of Lola's undesirable behaviors. And so, just as a reminder, that A for DEA, as far as applying the prompt, use these names, right? Use Dave and Madi, use Lola, put it in the actual response, because what that tells the reader is that you're applying it to this particular question. And so you can see lots of good examples of when they're using those terms. I do want to draw your attention to some of the content for this second one, because the second one we had some more issues than the first one, mostly with conditioned response. Conditioned response is a term from classical conditioning. And so some students were really trying to use operant conditioning and really talking about punishment and different ways that they were like punishing Lola and trying to prevent her from doing something. Conditioned response really need to be attempting to pair together stimuli to produce essentially a reflex. And so this one right here, this example is really well done, that looks at how Dave and Madi could create a reflex of wanting to avoid slippers altogether. So it's not necessarily a behavior that is then punished. It's more preemptive. They pair together stimuli, in this case slippers and vinegar, to produce a conditioned response. So that was really well done. So when you have a minute, go through, look through these different answers that I have here, and know that these are not all inclusive. You might have put something that's different than what you see, and that's okay. But these were just some examples that stood out to me. As always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. and good luck.